Hi there, folks. I was just about getting ready to start up this episode. I was doing some final exploring in this town, and I came across something very useful here at the end, at least useful for me. I need wool. Look, here in the floor of this Tinker's Construct hut is wool, free for the taking. Now, it'd be kind of rude for me to just rip up this guy's floor and leave absolutely nothing in its place, so I'm going to put in some cobblestone. I just wanted to let you guys know I had found this source of wool without actually having to kill any sheep, thus making my girlfriend happy and fulfilling my needs. I'm also going to steal these stencil tables, part builders, and these useful things, but I'm going to deal with that later. Just wanted to show you that, and I'll meet you up back at base. I'm almost at base, and I'm running for monsters as usual, though I at least now have a sword and I'm vaguely able to protect myself. But I wanted you to see the changes I've made out front. As you see, I've put out a couple more torches. I removed the puddle of quicksand that was forming over here. I put in a door, which is a nice thing. And I designed the door to close the moment I got inside. I'm also, because I'm pretty sure they're going to break down my door tonight, going to place a block there, which will keep them from actually getting in, even if they manage to break in my door. So, first thing that I'd like to do is use up some of the things that I found at that village to make my life a little more interesting. So let's see. The Tinker's Tool Station will allow me to construct tools. A part builder will allow me to actually build the parts necessary for Tinker's Construct. A stencil table will allow me to make stencils, which I use in the part builder to make the parts that I put together in the tool station. I know this is a little complicated, but I'll cover it all a little bit later and whatnot. But that gets me useful things that I didn't have to construct myself. And finally, I'm going to use up some wood, which I have stored in the chest. Spent a chunk of the day yesterday chopping down trees out front. If you take a look at the map right now in my upper right hand corner, you can see that I don't have all that many trees surrounding my base. That's because I spent a chunk of the day, like I said, chopping them down, turning them into wood, and removing those pesky chunks of foliage, which reduces the number of monsters that could just hang out near my base when daytime comes. This makes me just a little bit safer here at home. And at the moment, safety is a major concern for me. I also cooked up some of that wheat into bread, and did just a little bit of mining, which I'll show you in a little bit. Hasn't gotten any resources yet, but it's at least an interesting start. So anyway, I was going to make myself my first bed, place it here in my cave, and hope that I'm far enough from monsters, say right here, that I can sleep. Ah, very nice. Having slept here, I have now made it daytime, for those who didn't know that trick, and I've changed my spawn location, so now that if I die, I will return to life back here in my base. I may not have any of the equipment that I had on me at that exact moment when I died, but I'll at least be here and I'll be safe. So, let me empty some more things out of my inventory. Actually, I'm going to convert all of my wheat directly into flour. The moment I have no other specific purpose for it, and I have a supply coming. And this will allow me to keep my furnace filled. And with my furnace filled, I get more bread. Now, I've pretty much run out of useful saplings to toss into my furnace. I theoretically could use these last 7, but that's fine. What I do have, however, is a reasonable amount of wood. Now, if you wish to use wood the most efficient way possible in a furnace, if you toss a block of wood in, it's extremely inefficient. If you break that down into planks, it's a lot better, but still not as efficient as you can get. It turns out your maximum efficiency comes from putting sticks directly into the furnace. This saves you a bunch of, you have to do a bit of work to get from here to there, but at least you have an efficient way of handling. Oh, I do hate creepers. Luckily, I had just produced a spawn point, and so I'm not going to die, and was far enough away that I lived through that experience. But not that one. Mini creeper killed me. I mean, sorry, mini zombie. Let me make myself another sword. Actually, I'm going to make a pickaxe too, because I'm about to need it. And some cobble. So, first, a pickaxe. I always like to carry pickaxes. And with the... I'm not sure the name of the mod that actually does this. I'll research it and put it in the comments. But one of the newest mods to this pack, wasn't even here in the last version of the pack, has added gravestones. So that when you die, there's a little grave marker that gets placed that stores all of the things you were carrying when you died. And if you break that grave marker, you get all the things you were carrying when you died back. This is great. It used to be that all the things when you died scattered around, like these blocks are scattered around from the creeper explosion. But it's not true anymore, and I'm quite glad of it. Here is my gravestone, and if I mine it, there are all the things that I had when I died. Much better. Now, let me repair the damage done to my front deck. Let's see, I know it's only sand, but it's sand that makes it easier for me. Oh, that went away. It's sand that makes it easier for me, because when I step out my front door, I like to have things be, I don't know, easy to walk on, relatively neat and even. Looks like there was enough destroyed that I can't just quite fill it up. Let me use the shovel. I spent just a minute clearing out some sand from over here, where it's not quite so close to my front door, and I don't mind so much. So, what are my plans for today's episode? Well, today I'm going to at least show you the beginnings of how I do my mining. I don't intend to mine for a significant period of time on camera. That seems to be pretty boring to me. I'll go ahead and do that mostly off camera. When I do find things like when I find my first diamond or stuff like that, I will probably, bring that on camera just for a moment so that you guys can see the moment of discovery of that last thing. Well, a couple moments after discovery, because I won't have the camera rolling until I actually find it. And then you'll get to see me mine it on camera. If I have to go and, for example, make an iron pickaxe so that I have the right level of pickaxe or whatnot, I'll do all that on camera so that you can, see me go through the process. But otherwise, I'm going to do most of my mining and plant clearing, like I did up here, removal of those trees, off camera. I think it's boring. If you all disagree with me, you're welcome to post it in the comments, and I may very well do so on camera. But from those who I've talked to and who've watched me play Minecraft, I don't talk a lot while I mine. I don't do anything exciting. I'm not goofy or particularly silly in those situations. And so likely that would just be a boring silent time while I mined and nothing else happened. But so let me show you what I've produced over here. Now, I added this door so that I built pressure plates. When you step on a pressure plate, it triggers a door near it. When you step off that pressure plate, it triggers that door to close. Now, I didn't put them out here because I don't want mobs to be able to just get in by walking up to the door. But when I walk in, it will close the door for me behind me. Direwolf 20 is the first one I saw do this, and after I saw him do it, I immediately decided it was brilliant, and I've done it ever since. I have to open the door manually from the outside, but it closes behind me. This is a nice feature. Later, when I get obsidian, I will make obsidian pressure plates, because obsidian pressure plates only open when a player steps on them. They don't open when a monster steps on them. And then I will put those fore and aft of every door, so that I just walk up to the door and it opens for me and then closes behind me. So now, I dug down through here. Right in this neighborhood, I found a cavern. It's directly under my house that's full of monsters most of the time. I'm going to have to spend a little time in here clearing that out. I may or may not do that on camera. And I've worked my way down here to layer 42. This is my standard methodology, is to build a moderately wide staircase down, dig out any resources that I find along the way, often fill those areas in with cobblestone. Here's some items that I haven't been able to mine yet. I mine everything out of the walls whether I need it or not right now. Anything that's not cobblestone or gravel or dirt, and sometimes even that. This gives me a huge pile of resources, which at the moment is completely disorganized, but at least I have them when I decide that I want to play with them. I'll have to build more chests, obviously, and start an organization system. For the moment, that's where I'm at. I'm going to do a little bit more mining, get myself a little bit of resources so I can start building my first machines, and then I'll come back to you. Hello, I'm back. I told you that I'd let you see when I found my first iron, and I have, at the same time as I found an entrance to another cave on the length of my stairway, which has some essence berries in it, which are going to be very useful later on for enchanting purposes. Nonetheless, here I find, right here in my wall, my first chunk of iron. It looks like it's part of a vein, which is good. It allows me to have enough iron for the first project that I really want, which is to build myself a bucket. I need a bucket to carry around lava and to carry around water. Both of which are going to be useful for various purposes. The first thing I intend to do is build myself a little bit of a cactus farm and a little bit of a sugarcane farm down here in the ground because, well, quite frankly, I like to control the spaces that I do my farming in so that monsters can't spawn in them. Again, I'm a little paranoid about monsters. Ooh, looks like Venetia more. I can't mine yet either. And so I'm going to use that iron not to make a pickaxe, but to make a bucket. Those buckets will allow me to build, for example, a sugarcane farm down in a cave, which will allow me to come down into that cave and get that sugarcane without the risk of monsters killing me. In general, most people do it up on the surface in natural environments. I'm not completely opposed to that idea, but like I said, I like to have some control of my spaces and my environment. Oop, it looks like I'm about to die down here. Let's see if I can not. That would be nice. Okay, guys, that was unnecessarily rude. Unnecessary roughness. Call on play. Anyway, looks like these guys. Hey, look, they blew each other up. What an extremely nice thing for them to have done. That saves me all of the pain of having to deal with them. Okay, folks, I'm going to spend a little while lighting up this cave system that I've found, and if I find any wonderful minerals or whatnot, I will bring myself back on camera and let you see what wonderful things I've found. Hello again. So the cave system I find myself in is not small, not at all. But in it I found sapphire, and I think if right over here, not sure if this is emerald ore. So I found myself my first emerald, which is it's absolutely wonderful. I've been playing with Tinker's Construct. For those of you who haven't played with it, one of the things that you can get yourself on any piece of equipment that you build, especially pickaxes, is Silk Touch. To me, Silk Touch is, well, I guess some people consider Fortune to be more important. I consider Silk Touch to be one of the most wonderful things you can put on a pickaxe, because you actually get the block themselves, and a lot of the ore processing devices that exist in various mods allow you to double or sometimes even triple your output over what you would have got if you'd mined it in person, if you can bring the raw block itself back to your base and process it there, which you can't do unless you have Silk Touch. Wow, that guy almost killed me. Let me eat some food and try to recover, because there's another one right there. It makes me think that there might be a spawner around somewhere for him to respond to that quickly. I'm actually a little nervous. Nervous enough that I hardly spotted this gold ore sitting right here in the wall. Man, that's pretty nervous. For me to not notice gold, that's nervous time. Okay, well, let me head down here just a little bit. See, this cave system is huge. I'm pretty sure that I'm going to have to give up on the idea of completely filling it in. And instead what I'm going to do, filling it in with light I mean, instead what I think I'm going to do is break it up into sections, fill off, wall off each section in such a way that mobs can't get through, like said. See, most mobs, no mobs can get up through here, no mobs can get up through there. If I can kill this Hecate, maybe I can expand a little bit more in this. Oh, Looks like he despawned. Ooh, there's an area up there. I'm not sure. Anyway, I wanted to show you guys the things that I had found. See, he's spawning very quickly and very rapidly. It makes me think there's a spawner around. I'm going to do a little bit more exploring, and I'll be right back. Well, folks, I just died down there in that mine. That's a little frustrating, but it gives me an opportunity to show you guys what it is that I've been wandering around in. I'm going to bring as many torches as I can make, and I'm going to get myself a sword and a pickaxe like usual. In fact, I think I'll take several just because I'm a little paranoid about what I'm going to run into down here. Luckily, with the new gravestone system, I don't actually have to worry about losing all of my stuff. It'll be nice and safe and sound regardless of how long it takes me to get down there. But I don't want to go too long because I like all of my stuff. Okay. And a little bit of cobblestone just to give me something to stand on. So, check this out. First, I got to get myself down to the bottom of my stairway, which is relatively easy. And I lit up this area over here and lit up over there, and I came up here and went down here, and that was all easy. And then I followed this branch out down here. Beehives, more iron. Didn't get to because I was too busy. I'd like to light up that area up there, but I'd also like to not die. And I think I see a mob right there. Well, I guess I'm going to have to do some killing. Come on down. I see you. But I can negate your ranged advantage by being tricky. Tricky is basically what I've got. Tricky and a wooden and a stone sword. That's about it. Well, relatively soon that won't be true, but right now, tricky and a stone sword. Hey, tricky and a stone sword has got me through a lot of tough situations. Ooh, mana creeper. I've never actually been hurt by one of those things, but they're just like creepers, which makes them scare me a lot. So, let me, bloody heck. How many of you am I going to have to kill today? Okay. As you see, I haven't even lit up this area. I just noticed it was up here and decided I'd try to light up just a little bit more, and here I am, like, wandering off into the dark. I mean, you know, not so bad. Hey, look, I think it attaches to an area that I was already putting in torches. Yes, this is this is the cave that's attached to my house. Let me go see if I have the capability of going and getting a couple more torches. Just a sec. I'll be right back, folks. See? This cave is huge. Okay, folks. Remember where last time I went climbing up this pile of gravel and wandering off into a cave? I'm going to go back to the route that I was at. Now I've got some torches. 64 more, which probably won't be enough because you see there's lots of areas that I haven't lit up yet. Every time I see those red X's attached to my base, I have a strong urge to spend just a little while following out the path, hoping that it dead ends soon, and most of these just don't dead end. But I don't like unlit areas. See, there, I've got a dead end. And if you'll note, I've got some sapphire down here. I've got some more tin down here. I've got some uranium, which is completely useless until I build a nuclear reactor. I've got a lot of iron. I've got copper. I've got everything. All the good ores that spawn at this level, I'm running into. But yeah, okay, so back to this cave. Now, if you look at my map in the upper right, you'll notice that there's a little cursor with this date attached to it. That's where I died. That's where I'm trying to get back to right now. But I keep running into other things that I want to pick up, or that I want to light up, or it's so hard to keep focused on just going back to that spot. But there's useful stuff in the inventory I had there. But I mean, you know. Anyway, so yeah. As you can see, I'm going to be coming down in here very soon, picking up coal and ruby and all sorts of other useful things. I'm also making it a major point to collect any of these oreberry bushes I've gotten. Any of you who haven't played with the Tinker's Construct mod have never seen oreberries. They're extremely useful. Basically, this is a bush that if you put it down, over time, it will grow back more of those ore berries. And if you smelt those ore berries, you get little nuggets of ore. And if you combine those, you get ingots of ore. So effectively, you've got a sitting in wherever safe place you've put it, growing all by itself without your help, collection of ore. You don't have to necessarily go mining. It's not that fast. Don't get me wrong, it's not like it's a replacement for mining, but it certainly is a nice addition to mining. Okay, clearly down here isn't where I needed to go. Let me get myself back up out of this hole and figure out where it is that I needed to go. Inevitably, I'm going to run into some mobs. Let's see, I need to go this way. The map says that this is the right route. It's probably wrong, but that's what it says to me. Ah, yes, I was down here. And I opened this area up, see? Monsters everywhere, and not a spot of safety. I opened this area up, and got blown up. And then I opened this area up, and got blown up. It looks like all of my stuff did despawn, because I took too long to get back here. That's very frustrating, because right here is where I died, and apparently there's no grave marker and none of my stuff. That makes me sad. I guess I'll just have to do a little bit more exploring to make up for it. Okay, folks, as you know, this is what I'm doing right now. It's kind of boring to watch on camera, so I'm going to very carefully light this whole area up. If I find any diamonds, like I just found a whole bunch of gold, I will come back to you, and if not, I'll see you back at base with a bunch of resources. And I'm back from an extraordinarily successful mining adventure. I used up every pickaxe that I had. I filled my entire inventory to the roof. I picked up all sorts of useful things. Why don't we take a quick look? Now, as you can see, I've changed the way things are sorted just a little bit to save myself a little bit of pain. So, here we are. I have a bunch of copper. Took a while to find that. A bunch of tin and a bunch of iron. That gets me started with my basic ores. I got my aluminum ore, which was useful for Tinker's Construct. Obviously some cobblestone and some coal. Let me see what else goes where. Here are my plant drops, so I think I'm going to put my various oreberry bushes in here. Those are going to turn into a farm very, very soon. Here are my mob drops, where bones and arrows and brains and other such things that monsters drop in the world go. I'm down here. I'm just going to put my various blocks. So, now, I'm going to take a quick adventure off camera out into the outer world and get myself some clay so we can get started on the first piece of equipment that I'd like to build for you all on camera that I think you'll enjoy quite a lot. It is my Tinker's Construct forge. So, I will be right back with all the materials necessary and we can get started on that build, which I'd like to finish today. Okay folks, I think I've put together everything that I need, so now let me show you how to get started with Tinker's Construct. First thing that happens is when you spawn at the beginning of the game, you are going to find yourself with a book entitled Materials and You by Skyla. If you need to know how to make this book, the recipe for it is a blank pattern and a piece of paper. The recipe for a blank pattern, because we're about to have to make a bunch of these, is diagonally 2 pieces of plank and 2 sticks. So let me make a collection of those because I need a bunch of them. Let me make half a stack of planks and turn this into a stack of sticks. This will allow me to make many patterns that I probably will need. See, 32 blank patterns. That'll get me started quite nicely. Now, the next thing that we're going to need right now is a chest. Because if you take a chest and put a blank pattern above it, you get a pattern chest. When you make the pattern chest, or almost any of the other things, you get Materials in You Book 2 by Skyla. Now, I'm going to take these stencil tables, the stencil table, the part builder, the tool station, and the pattern chest all down to the location that I'm about to build my furnace at. But what's a furnace, you ask? What's a smelter? That's what I'm about to build. Now, wrong book. Sorry. Doesn't look like I got the right one. This book. There we are. Getting started. One of the things that it lists in its ingredients list is grout, which, when made this way and cooked, creates seared brick. I need a bunch of seared brick. That's why I went and got clay, sand, and gravel from the outside world, just because I knew I was going to be cooking up quite a lot of this. This allows me to build my furnace and any other things associated with it. You'll see. It's very nice. So, let me cook up some of this stuff, combine it, and I'll come back when I show you how to combine it with things. Okay, so I built myself a couple of extra furnaces to get things moving, and now have enough to start showing you how to build these necessary things. So, first thing that you need out of seared brick to start your smeltery is a smeltery controller. Note that when I made the smeltery controller, one of the things that happened was I got another book. So if you open up this next book, it proceeds to tell you main structure is called a smeltery. It's larger than structures you may be familiar with. It's a multi-block structure. It lists you the basic things you need to build the smelter and a picture of it. I've built a bunch of these, so I'm just going to get started. I know that I need a controller. I know that because of the way that I build, I'm going to need... Well, I had a lot more bricks than that. There they are. I knew. I'll just put them away. I like to have 2 drains. Officially, you only need 1, but I always end up with 2. You're going to need a tank. Let's see, where's the recipe for the tank? There it is. 1 seared tank. Built like this. Easy. And we put a piece of glass in the middle, and we surround it by these seared bricks. There's my tank. That's where I'm going to put lava in, which is going to create the heat necessary to melt everything. Now, I'm going to need 2 faucets. One for each of the drains. Now, because of the way, again, I make 2 smeltery drains. This allows me to attach to the sides of my smelter 2 different outputs, which is why there are 2 faucets. What are those outputs? Well, one of them is what's called a casting basin. This allows me to pour out 9 ingots at a time in a big block. It's relatively rapid, and it turns out to be automatable. But if I want to make anything more detailed, a single ingot, or any of the complicated tools that I'm about to make, I'm going to need this casting table. The way I set up my smelter, I can put these on each side. And now, the other thing that you need are these blocks. These seared bricks make up the base, and combined with some glass, which we're going to make in just a minute. Actually, let me show you how to make that. It takes a bunch of glass, but it's quite pretty when we get it all done. These become the sides. So let me make all of the necessary items. Now that I've shown you how to make individuals, I'm going to make a bunch more seared glass, and I'm going to make a bunch more seared bricks. I don't need anything else at the moment. And then I'm going to carry it all down, bring you back on camera, carry it all downstairs, and show you how it gets built. Okay, so I finished building all the things that I need, and here we go. Now, since I made this particular chunk of area safe, I decided it would be a good place to build my smeltery. Let me put all the items that I'm going to need to lay out down here in my inventory. Seared bricks, smeltery controller, drains, tanks, faucets, glass, and my casting basins. There we go. Okay, so first you have to lay out a 3x3 of seared bricks on the ground. There are no options here. That's a pretty easy one. Next, you need to lay out outside of that area your smelter. So now, I happen to like to be able to see into my smelter all the time. So I lay out seared glass in the front. Now, you need a tank, which is where you're going to put in your lava. Nice to have that immediately accessible from all sides. You're going to need your controller, which is what's going to theoretically control this whole apparatus. And then I'm building a multiple level, so I'm not going to put in any drains at the moment. Now, when you lay it all out, if you see fire coming out of this controller, you've built a smeltery. Notice how there's 6 blocks here. That's because there's 6 spaces inside here. Theoretically, that's all the blocks that you could smelt at a time. I use my smelter a lot more than that. So, what you do, hold shift, you go ahead and you add another level. Here's where I'm going to put one of my drains. This drain, with a faucet attached to it, and our casting table here, is going to allow me to cast things. Whether those be ingots or pickaxe heads or sword blades, that's where they're going to be constructed. The back here isn't particularly useful or pretty, so I'm just going to leave it alone. And this side is going to be used, but I'm going to do it on one more level, because I have the equipment to make one more level. That was one of the reasons that I got so much clay and gravel and sand. So now, I'm going to build a third level. These all just add 9 more blocks on the inside that you can place things. Very useful. And, in this case, I'm going to place my smeltery drain up on this level. Put the last faucet attached to it, put a basin in it. You might wonder why I put the basin up so high. Well, it turns out that the basin, because it only gets one thing poured into it, full blocks, you can put a vanilla block called a hopper underneath it and suck items out of it, which means that you can set it up so that as soon as this gets filled, it pulls right back out. That's wonderful. What that allows me to do is later, when I want to smelt, 40 blocks of iron, what I do is I bring them all over here, I toss them into the smeltery controller, which you can also attach an input hopper into. They'll go all in here, they'll all melt, they'll all automatically get poured out into here and pulled out into a chest. So I can walk away at that point, knowing that all of those are going to get turned into blocks, except the last couple, which may turn into ingots. So there we are. We have a smelter. Now, I know that it takes, obviously, if you look, let me get up high enough so that you can actually see what I'm talking about. It takes 3, 6, 9, 12 blocks to add another level, and I only have 11. And quite frankly, like I said, I like to keep the entire front clear. It's pretty. So at the moment, I don't have enough to actually expand this. What am I going to do? Well, what I'm going to do is take the bricks that I do have and place them on top. Because that way, when the time comes for me to expand, I have the option. Now, all I have to do is get enough bricks to make those 3 glass, and all of a sudden I've added a whole other level to my smeltery. It is an expandable structure. It's relatively fast, cheap, and easy. Now, since I'm going to be doing quite a lot of work down here, usually related to this actual casting table over here, I'm going to take this pickaxe, clear out just a little bit of space, I don't need a huge amount, and place those other things that are in my inventory. And as I do, I'll explain to you what they do, what they're for, and why I have them. Later I'll come clean this whole area up and try to make it pretty, which is not my specialty, I hope you understand. But I do like the areas that I'm working in not to feel cluttered, not to feel difficult to work in. I like a nice clean work environment. So, first, you have the part builder. this is the thing that we're going to put it in the wrong place. Gotta be more careful with my clicking. This is a part builder. What this allows us to do is build parts for our construction purposes. Right next to it goes the pattern chest. Pattern chest appears immediately next to the part builder when they're adjacent to each other. And then I want the stencil table. Stencil table is where I make the stencils that go in the pattern chest that allow me to build parts. I know this is a little complicated, but you're about to see how it works. And finally go at this tool station, which is the actual location where we actually do all of our tool construction. So, first, let me put these blank patterns here in the stencil table. If you open up the right one of these books, and it'll take me just a couple page leavings to figure out which one that is. Probably not Materials and Me. Probably not this. There we go. Materials and You Part 2. If you go and look at the pickaxe, which is the thing that I'm most interested in making right now, because I spend a lot of time down in the mines making holes in walls, and using up pickaxes, requires a pickaxe head, a tool rod, and a tool binding. And then, if you go down a bunch of pages, there's some discussion about if you make such and such out of wood, this is its durability, this is its modifier if you made a handle out of it, a full tool is made 59, this is its mining speed, etc. Well, I've spent a lot of time playing with exactly what it is that I want and exactly what it is that I need. So, I know that I'm going to need a tool rod, I know I'm going to need a pickaxe head, and I know I'm going to need a binding. Like that. So if I take these three and toss them in the chest, you notice each one of them says on it what its material cost is. The material cost of 1 or 0.5 or 0.5. So what does that mean? Well, it means that if I want to make, for example, a tool binding out of stone, that it's going to use half a stone. Well, they had to add a thing called a stone shard, which is the other half of the stone. Well, there is my stone tool binding. Well, I only need one. You'll see why in just a moment. And if I look at the tool rod, it also only takes half. So it'll use up this other stone shard and give me a tool rod. Nice. And finally, the pickaxe head happens to use exactly 1 stone, so there's no leftover pieces. Now, I have these 3 chunks in my hand, and I could take them over here to this tool station, click on pickaxe, put the 3 pieces in, and get myself basically the equivalent of a stone pickaxe. 65 durability, mining speed of 4, it'll mine iron. I could put 3 modifiers on it, and I could name it, but I don't see any advantage in doing this right now. What I do know, and I'm going to have to go upstairs and get just a little bit of material. Let me show you why. Mighty smelting. When you need to make a template, like it shows here, forming a cast, made by pouring aluminum, brass, or gold into an empty casting table. Now, aluminum brass is 3 aluminum and 1 copper. That's a lot cheaper than any gold at all. So, I'm going to go make myself some aluminum brass. So let's see, where are my ores? So I need copper. Let's get 5. And I'm going to need aluminum. So if I remember correctly, it says 3, right? 3 aluminum, 1 copper. Well, that means I need 15. There's 15 aluminum. But I'm going to bring extras of both of them, just in case I'm wrong. And I'm going to bring 1 ingot. Oh, I forgot a major step here. Before I can smelt anything, let me show you. While I have the smelter up, and while it is functioning as a device and it's showing lots of fire down here, and if I put ingots in it, it will accept them. It doesn't have any heat. It doesn't have any lava in it. If I go over here, oh, wrong place. If I go over here, this tank is empty. What does that mean? Well, you have to fill that tank with lava for it to function. In fact, you have to fill it with several buckets of lava. I don't like making many buckets of lava just so that I can do that. So there's another item in the game called a portable tank. Now these have been added by thermal expansion, but that's irrelevant. They work just fine anywhere. What they need is a copper ingot and glass. Well, I've got some glass and I've got some copper ore. I might as well just go ahead and make myself some copper ingots. I only need one. And since I'm only doing one, there's absolutely no reason for me to use coal. So, let me make some sticks. Length. I might as well make 8. Just to make sure that I have more than enough heat. Go ahead and smelt that. While that's smelting, I'm going to make a bucket, because I do need at least one bucket. There gives me the bucket that I'm going to need to do this job. And now, let's take this, surround it, and create a portable tank. You know, that was so easy, and I know I'm going to go through the lava. I might as well make a second. Now, here's why I like this crafting station. I don't have the copper yet. Normally, with the vanilla crafting station, when I exited out of here, it would throw those items on the ground. This keeps them. So I can come over here, grab my copper ingot, place it in my crafting station, and have a second portable tank. Now, if I'm going to pick up a portable tank, if I recall correctly, I need a wrench. In this case, a crescent hammer. What's a crescent hammer made of? I need a tin and 3 iron. Good thing I have some iron. Good thing I mined out some tin. One more thing to smelt. I didn't even take that tin, did I? I just separated it out. And we get set up the rest of the recipe. There is a new feature that I've only begun using recently that I think that you'll really like, related to NEI. So if I click on this and get its recipe, and I have the items in my inventory, if I hold shift and click on this question mark, it immediately transfers it in here so that I can use it. Okay. So, I'm going to make my way down to the closest collection of lava that I have, and then I'll be right back. Here I am down at my local lava lake, and I'm going to set up my 2 portable tanks, one above the other. Now, this is set on input mode, and this is set on output mode, but regardless, if I click a bucket of lava and click, it's going to start filling those tanks. So, I'm just going to collect lava here. Not being particularly organized or efficient about which lava blocks I collect. Maybe I should do that. Yeah, there we go. I'll be a little more precise. Now, both of those are full. So, if both of those are full, and I take my wrench and shift right click on them, it picks them both up, tosses them into my inventory, and now I have 8 buckets each of lava, full, 16 buckets plus this one in my inventory, 17 buckets for a little expenditure of glass and copper. So, I'm going to work our way back up to our smeltery and then show you how all this works. Okay, I'm back to the smelter. So, here's our smelter. There's where our lava is going to need to go. Well, I'm just going to take these 2 and place them within easy reach. One on top of the other. It makes it just a little bit easier. I'm going to take the lava and pour it into the controller. And immediately fill this up, used up some of the lava, and is beginning to heat those items. Now let me grab a couple more buckets. This, if you'll note, the view up above, it claims to hold 4 buckets, and it's used up a little bit of one. So, there we are. These tanks each have a little bit of lava taken out of them. Someone's beating on my door upstairs. I have to go find out who. Enemies. Daytime. He was hiding. Okay, back to my smelting. So, in the time that I was gone, all of that smelted and produced me 40 ingots of molten aluminum brass. Now, aluminum brass is what's used for making templates. Just like over here in the pattern chest, I have these tool rod patterns. Please stop beating on my door. It's very frustrating. I don't want my door broken. In a moment, I'll be replacing that with an iron door. However, back to what I was doing again. These patterns are made of wood. We can't really pour molten metals into them. That would not work. So, what we do is this. First, I'm going to take an iron ingot. Any ingot would do, but I happen to have iron. Place it here and click on the faucet. Out pours some aluminum brass, and I get myself an ingot cast. Now, if I put this in here and click, it's going to pour out some aluminum brass and make me a nice ingot of aluminum brass. That's wonderful. It's not what I need right now, but it's wonderful. What I need right now are I take this stone tool rod and put it in here. I'm going to get myself a cast for tool rods. If I do the same thing with a pickaxe head, I'm going to get myself a cast for pickaxe heads. And if I put in a binding, I'm going to get a cast for bindings. Now, if I put something more exciting than aluminum brass in here, what I'm going to get out is the ability to... Sorry, that confused me for a moment. What I'm going to get out is pickaxe heads of a specific material, or bindings of a specific material, or tool rods of a specific material. And then I can combine those over in the station over there to make myself pickaxes. So, I'm going to wrap up this session right here. Next session, I will be making myself a sword that I will like greatly to carry around, and pickaxes and shovels that will allow me to do my mining much more efficiently, without using up all of my wood and without using up all of the things that the metals that I'm mining to make iron pickaxes or whatnot. So, I hope you enjoyed this session, and I'll see you next time.